Hello, this is your friend, Dick Halls. I like to call you friend, as well as acknowledging that I am your friend as well. This is the YouTube program that features walking with God in the garden. One of the great blessings that I have had in my garden is to have friends. Not all friends, though, want the same thing that I do. They don't like to get into the garden and weed and shovel and get involved with the details of gardening. They just like to eat the produce of the garden, and that's okay. But as I introduce the program today, it's a program of friendship. Over the years of my ministry, I have done thousands and thousands of programs on dollar prayer. I have begun every session with hello friends. And also, as I've sent out newsletters, I've always addressed the newsletter to friends. I hope you have friends. Someone has said that if we have 5 friends in a lifetime, true friends, we are fortunate people. Unfortunately, there are many people who don't have many friends, if any. We have many acquaintances, and there are many people who want to associate with us, not always out of friendship, but out of their need. Not even our need. But that's okay. We live in that kind of a world, and it's realistic to understand that that is the dynamic. But today, as I share with you about friendship, I think of my own life and how in my garden of life, I have had friends, some very close friends that have sacrificed for me, that have gone way out of their way for me, and have wanted the very best for me. They have shared hours, days, money, equipment, whatever I've needed. So I consider myself one of those very, very fortunate people who have had friends. I want to read for you something that was given to me, actually to my wife and me, in our ministry at the church that we pastored here in Escondido. It is a tribute of friendship. So let me just read what was inscribed on this plaque that I've received. It says, to Pastor and Mrs. Halls, a friend is one to whom one may pour out all contents of one's heart, chaff and grain together, knowing that the gentleness of hands will take and sift it. Keep what is worth keeping, and with the breath of kindness, blow the rest away. Now that was given to my wife and me in our ministry in the church, 1977. It seems like a long time ago. But over those years, I can honestly say it's been a wonderful journey of friendship. Many of those people that I pastored years and years and years ago are still with me. Not in the church, but as friends. So today, as I share with you, I'd also like to share a personal object. Recently, I took a trip to Las Vegas to visit some former church members. And one of the church members, interestingly, gave me something that I have treasured, and it's a pocket knife. I don't know how many of you have had pocket knives, but I probably lost more than one could ever think about, because as a child, you always wanted to carry a pocket knife. Now, at this stage of life, I still need a pocket knife, and I regard this as one of my great gifts of friendship. But before we go any further, let me tell you the story of friends, which is recorded in the Bible. It's a story of David and Jonathan. David, as I've recounted, is the son of Jesse, and he came from a poor family from Bethlehem. Jonathan was the son of the king, King Saul. David became a part of Saul's court by killing Goliath, the giant. And in the course of time, we are told that Jonathan, the son of Saul, loved David. He regarded him as one of his dearest friends. It's the most touching story that I read in the Old Testament. And if I had the opportunity, I would make a movie of these two friends, David and Jonathan. But before the movie, I am simply telling you the story. We are told that David got the wrath of Saul when he was acknowledged as being greater than Saul as a warrior. David has slain his 10,000s, Saul only his thousands. The jealousy of Saul, even though he was a king, was so great that he tried to kill David. He saw him as a threat to the empire. And he did everything possible to get David killed. He threw a spear at him one day while David was playing on his harp to solace Saul. He talked to his son Jonathan about killing David, even though David was Jonathan's close friend. It was even so that when David married Saul's daughter, that Saul tried to get the daughter, now David's wife, to betray her husband so that Saul could kill him. But Michal, who was the daughter's name, worked with David and left him down out of the room so that Saul could not kill him. Friendship continued to develop between Jonathan and David. Saul, Jonathan's father, tried to get Jonathan to betray his friend. But we are told that the bond between these two people was so great that there was nothing Jonathan would do to betray his friendship. I liken that to the person of Jesus Christ. We find that he says he is our friend. First, though, we might see ourselves as enemies of Christ. And certainly there have been many human beings who have fought against Christ. But Christ says, no longer do I call you enemies or slaves, but I call you my friend. That's what he said to his disciples. It's not unlike what Jonathan has said to David, his friend. I want to read for you this very interesting relationship that these two young men had with each other. It's an amazing passage of scripture, which is found in the 20th chapter of 1 Samuel. I encourage you to read it. Verse 42. Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever." That is a remarkable friendship. And we are told in the story before, as the story develops, that Jonathan worked with David to give him security, that he could escape from the wrath of his father. It was a plot, and it was fulfilled. Now, David never turned against Saul, spared his life upon a number of occasions, never betrayed his friendship or his loyalty to the king. But Saul, out of rage and jealousy, sought to kill David because he saw him as an enemy. Then we are told, after this contract between David and Jonathan, David left, and Jonathan went back to the town. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think that these two young men saw each other again. David fought for the king, but was never captured by the king. He escaped and was free. The end of the story is that Jonathan was ultimately one who took his own life along with his father when the enemy called the Philistines came upon them. And the word is that at the death of his friend Jonathan, David wept. True friendship leads us to that type of intimacy and closeness. I will always regard this pocket knife as a gift from a friend. And when my friend passes on, I will be weeping for his loss. Just as I have missed so many of the people who've been in my life, who were a part of this statement, which is on a plaque, which I hang in my bedroom. And I look at often about the real meaning of friendship. Sifting through the things that are not so good, discarding them, but keeping the richness of the relationship. You are my friends. I'm happy to call you my friends. And God willing, may I be your friend as well. Have a wonderful week and tune in again to this program, Walking with God in Your Garden.